The way I value Bittensor is on a few levels. I would say today it's very undervalued, but that's only a function of what people have built on it and the maturity of the system, as well as the awareness of the system broadly in society and by humanity. I think that things are really only worth what people are willing to pay. I think that that's kind of like a fundamental principle. But I also think that ultimately pretty much nothing has intrinsic value except life and perhaps intelligence. And so if you think about the ultimate value of a system that is designed to produce and maximize intelligence, the value is more than potentially anything that has ever been invented by humanity. Any way I think about it, if Bittensor is super successful and reaches its sort of asymptote potential of being the universal incentivization layer for machine intelligence, AI, soft AGI, ASI, and whatever super ASI plus comes after that, I can't imagine a world where it isn't at least multiples of the asymptote value of gold, and which is a sort of baseline for the multiple of Bitcoin. And so, I don't know, that's generally how I think about the longish term of value that we could see accrue on the Bittensor network, specifically in the Bittensor token. And so, yeah, I mean, we're probably thinking of a number somewhere in the quadrillions of dollars. But I don't actually think that that manifests in a way that really connects with current markets and current sort of currencies and the way humans really reason about the utility and usefulness of those things in terms of purchasing power, you know, relative to GDP. By the time I think we have autonomous AI agents and AGI, ASI, whatever you want to call it, in the next 20, 30, 40 years, I think our definition of currencies and our definition of stores of value and mediums of exchange transforms and evolves quite rapidly into something else. I don't know exactly what that looks like. And so while I think Bittensor itself would probably be worth, you know, several orders of magnitude more than it is now, I don't necessarily think that a lot of the early believers are going to be sort of like all-powerful gods, you know, with these giant kingdoms. And, you know, I think that potentially the wealth accrued from that might actually manifest and look very different. I still think it could be very valuable, but I don't necessarily think that the sort of end game that a lot of capitalists sort of think of is, you know, how do we become the, you know, top 10 richest person in the world? I don't think that that necessarily matters as much in the future. But I do think in the current framework of things that Bittensor could be worth quadrillions of dollars in the future.